What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Swaggy Vets Podcast. I'm your host, Big Pen. I got my co-host with me, Swaggy Super. What's up, baby?
What going on, man? Hey, y'all know the vibe, man. Salute me or shoot me, man. Y'all know how it
Hey,
is.
hey.
I'm ready.
All
I'm
right,
rocking
man.
today.
We got a special guest today, man. One of my good friends I've known for a long time. He was born in Brooklyn, raised in Far Rockaway, Queens. My man grew up in tough environment, but he turned adversity into purpose. He served overseas as a gunner in Iraq, took on leadership roles as a team leader in NCOIC, carried the Army values through some of the hardest battles, both on the field and off. His service faced new challenges, including surviving a motorcycle accident that left him fighting for his life. Today, he's using this story to inspire others with his podcast, War. We're All Recovering, a platform dedicated to healing, resilience, and community. My man is one of the greatest of the grit, survival, and giving back. We're honored to have him on the show. Welcome to the show, James.
Thank you guys. It's a pleasure.
Oh, hey, man, we appreciate you, brother.
Yes,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, so man, you grew up in Far Rockaway, Queens, huh?
Yes, sir. For Rock, the Rock, 6th Borough.
Tell us about that. There's a lot of violence over there, huh?
Ooh.
Man, listen. We starting there already. Okay. Well, growing up in Far Rockaway, man, taught me early, real early, that survival isn't just about, making it through the day. It's about learning how to move with purpose. I saw what happens when people lose hope, and I didn't want that to be my story, basically. And that environment is what shaped me, actually. The toughness, the violence, the dead bodies, losing friends. It made me disciplined, aware, more empathetic. When you've witnessed pain up close like I did, you start recognizing it in others, and that became the foundation on how I lead and connect with people today, honestly.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, you grew up with your mom who also served in the Army, right?
Yeah, my mom, she's the reason why I joined,
Hey.
a big inspiration. My mom showed me what strength was really like and what it looked like. Not loud, not boastful, just steady and easy. Watching her serve while raising me taught me that leadership starts at home, through love, accountability, and an example. She always said that authority means nothing to people if people don't trust you. And I carried that with me while I served, That stuck with me. It's how I learned to lead through trust, not fear. You can't, I don't believe, people should fear you. It's all about trust in my eyes.
Roger that. Shout out to Mama Duke for that, man.
Shout out to moms, word.
Hey, so we talked about there's a lot of violence that you grew up with. How did you break that cycle?
Oh man. Man, I remember looking around one day, and realizing too many of my friends weren't making it past 18. I ain't want to be a statistic, I ain't want to be another name on a mural or a T-shirt. That's all you see in the Rock, NYC, wide, all the boroughs, but especially Far Rockaway, That was the moment I knew I had to step away, not because I was better, but because I wanted better. You feel me? The Army became my way out. I ain't gonna lie. My reset button. Pause, press reset. My path to something greater.
That's respect.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So you said your mom kind of had something to do with you enlisting.
Yeah.
Okay, but besides that, was there any other driving factor besides that?
Yeah, man. Far Rockaway. Yeah, that was my way out, brother. That was my way out. I needed to get out of Far Rockaway before I ended up on a T-shirt,
The fast way.
on a wall somewhere. It was just like I felt it, man. I followed my instincts, and I knew it in my stomach. I had to get out, or I was gonna either be in jail. It's true when they say you only end up in jail or dead, you
That's it.
know. And that was that was the case for me. So I was like, yo, I gotta. What's the best way for me to get out of this place? And watching my mother, was she, the travel and everything. I was like, I would love to travel. This would get me out of the hood. So I was in college at the time. So I got out of college. You know, I basically said, look, it's time to go. So I put college on pause and hit the Mets.
Mm.
Yo, if y'all rocking with us, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that notification button so y'all never miss another drop. Let's go.
Mm. Hey,
Yes.
quick funny story. The way I met Mr. Straker was we was in AIT together, and we had kind of talked before, but when we first had a real conversation was they were showing us how to do a PMCS on the LMTV. And, he had said something, and I said, "Well, what about the happy hands?" And he started laughing. He's like, "You mean the glad hands?" I was like, "Oh, my bad."
You knew damn well.
Man,
Yeah.
that's what's up though. Say, well, once again, shout out to Mom Dukes for putting you in that
Yes,
that
yes,
mind way and Far Rockaway, like you say, man. Like a lot of us
yeah.
had a upbringing where we wanted to get out that environment and do something better. Mine, like I say, we talked earlier about. I'm from College Park in Atlanta. It was just rough growing up, and you just had to get away from it. But
Yeah,
hey, man,
yeah.
you made it there. You made it out of both places. So yeah, man, well, I salute you for that. Both
Thank
hands,
you,
man.
thank you.
But
Yeah.
and then
I
getting
just
back
want the
in
distance.
bingo. Now getting back to it, you know what I'm saying? Take us inside your first deployment, man. What did it feel like to just step in Iraq for your first time, man, when you deployed?
Oh man, it was surreal, brother. It was surreal. The air was thick. Y'all already know. Hot. Every sound made your heart jump.
Mm-hmm.
Sitting up in that turret, scanning rooftops. I remember thinking, yo, this is real now. It's going down. It wasn't about training anymore. Fear and pride hit all at the same time. Fear of the unknown, pride and the purpose, you know, that mix. It never leaves you. So I
Mm-hmm.
was happy to be there, but I was shook at the same time. I ain't gonna lie.
I think we all
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think we all really was, man. Like
definitely.
you carried a heavy responsibility as a team leader in Hawaii. Like how did those roles that you were coming, how did that push you into like testing your leadership and maintaining?
Good questions. Good questions. Leadership, man, it tests you in silence when no one's watching, when
Facts.
decisions get heavy. As a team leader, I had to learn every soldier, their strengths, their fears, their breaking points. You know, as an NCOIC, I had to balance mission and morale.
Yeah.
Those roles forced me to grow to realize leadership isn't about perfection, it's about presence. Don't always have the answers, but you show up anyway,
Yes, sir.
basically. You know?
I like that.
I like,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
that's real respect right there.
Yeah.
Now, can you walk us through a little bit of the Cobra Gold exercise with the top
Oh,
military? What stood
oh
out to you?
man.
What stood out to you about that?
Oh man, that was I wish you guys could have been there. That was an awesome, awesome exercise. I didn't even know we was doing things like that in the army. Honestly, like these exercises with the Thai military. But what stood out was the unity.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing two different cultures. Two militaries working side by side with that same discipline and respect.
Yes, sir.
It reminded me that leadership is a universal language. You know, you don't need to speak the same words when you lead by example. That experience proved that strength multiplies through collaboration. Basically, it's deep. It's
It's
deep.
something. I think that's something in the army we all that been in there for a long. That camaraderie and unity. It's nothing like a civilian life at all. It's
Right,
nothing like it. That's
right,
why I get better. That's why we got this platform so we can do
right.
this and show people.
Exactly. Yes,
But yeah,
yes.
we talked earlier about certain things. Tell us about the day you tried to recover Sergeant Sanchez's vehicle. What do you remember the most? What sticks out about that mission in your mind the most?
Oh man,
Yeah, that might be a deep one. Mhm.
bro, that ID that hit him, it wasn't an explosion, it was devastation, you know. It's unbelievable, bro. Like it left a crater nearly 12 feet deep. Listen to me when I tell you this. A crater like 12 feet deep. His Humvee was blown onto a rooftop nearby. Support platoon, I was in support platoon, so we had to go use our crane to pull a Humvee off. And at the same time we pulling the Humvee off, the insurgents know what's going on. We getting hit with small arms fire, everything, we shooting back, trying to pull his Humvee off, looking for, anything that we could recover, his remains. But anyway, that's how powerful this ID was. We searched the area hoping for something, anything. But we couldn't find his body, man. Like a day or two
Damn.
later, they found what was left, his torso. It came over the radio and everything. Luckily, I wasn't on that mission to go get that, to see that. But the the crazy thing is, when they found his torso, an ID was in his torso. You know, you can't prepare for that. The human mind isn't built to process that kind of destruction.
Mm-mm.
Not of a machine, but of a man who served with, you laughed with, you respected. That moment stays with me. It's etched into my memory. You don't move past something like that. You learn to carry it, and every day after, you carry it with purpose. To honor him, to
Mm-hmm.
live for the ones who didn't make it back.
All right, rest in peace, man.
Rest in peace on Sanchez for real.
I tell you, man.
How, how'd you how'd you get over that?
Man,
I,
you
I,
don't.
yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Yeah, it changed everything though for sure. Before service,
it kind of puts everything in a different
yeah.
perspective. Yeah.
It made me appreciate though life's smallest things. A laugh,
Mm-hmm.
a sunrise, a phone call home. It taught me that real leadership isn't about being fearless, it's about moving forward. Even when your heart is heavy, like, cause my heart is still heavy, bro. Like while we sitting here talking, I could smell it. I could smell the air from that moment. I could feel everything right now. You never forget that loss, but you honor it by how you live. And that's what I'm doing now.
Respect.
So fast forward to March 2022. Walk
Mm.
through there. You died in 13 minutes.
Oh man. Bro, you hitting some tough things back to back, you
Yeah.
know. Um, yeah, man, that motorcycle accident, I died for 13 minutes. That day started out like any other day, It was clear skies, good energy, You from Florida, you know how the, Florida weather was a little bit hot,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
already in March it was hot. And I was going to the VFW, it was a bikini bike wash. It was good. I was in a motorcycle club then, other clubs was there, and it was good. It was good vibes. I had no idea how close I was to crossing over. You
Mm.
know, 1 minute I'm on a bike, the next nothing, bro. Just blackness. Just like I went to sleep, yo. And And they told me later I died for 13 minutes, 13 minutes where I shouldn't be here,
Mm.
but somehow I came back. And not only did I die 13 minutes, I died on the way to the hospital again after they found me, revived me, and everything. Like an innocent, like a bystander found me basically driving by, a pedestrian or whatever, and he stayed with me until the paramedics showed up. I guess that's how they found out how long I was, gone or whatever, or they was trying to revive me for 13 minutes, and then I died on the way to the hospital. That moment changed everything. It reminded me, how fragile life is and how quick it could be all taken away just like that. When I woke up, I knew I was still here for a reason, that there was work left for me to do.
Man,
Yeah.
Dang, man.
Yeah, bro.
They
that's
say,
deep.
yeah. They say when that happens, what did you see anything? Go through
Oh,
it?
bro. I don't think y'all ready for that.
That's why we here, man.
Man, listen. You want me to keep it a bill with you? I keep it a bill. I keep it all the
Keep it
way 100.
1,000. Keep it
Yes.
1,000.
This is not to scare the folks out there, but there is another side. It's more to the story after this. I'll say
Mm.
that. I was in a dark place, brothers, and I wasn't asleep. I wasn't dreaming. I was wide awoke. I didn't know who I was. I didn't, I didn't, I just existed in this place, in this moment of time, this
What?
darkness. I couldn't move. I felt shackled. I felt grief all around me. I'm not talking about like grief when somebody passed away that you love. It was grief 1,000 times worse than that. That nothing I ever felt on earth before. I felt that all around me. I felt people crying, all of their emotions. I couldn't move. I didn't know what was going on. And then it felt like I was in this place forever. Then bam, it transitioned from that dark place to glowing lights to me seeing, you know, I didn't know it was my grandmother's at the time until I woke up and I was able to piece everything together. But I felt the love. I felt like I wanted to be with them. And they went and what messed me up and I couldn't get over it for months after I woke up was during this time when I was trying to get close to them, they wouldn't let me get close to them. It's like they rejected me. And when I woke up, I wanted to be with them so bad when I woke up. I had issues with dealing with that, why they wouldn't accept me and why they rejected me. I couldn't understand it. And I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it, but it took me, a few months to get over that.
Dang.
That's deep,
So
man.
so it is something that goes on after this. I don't know what it is. If I don't know if I was in hell. It wasn't no burning or anything like that. I don't know if I went to heaven, but it went from dark grief to feeling wonderful, to feel like I wanted to be in this place. And I was upset that I woke up and that I was back on earth.
Man,
Oh wow.
that's
Yes.
power. That's ooh, boy, that's deep. You shook me a little bit, bro.
Yeah, it was real.
So so walk us through that. You wake up and you was on life support, right?
I was on life support for a few days. Um, Waking up was like being reborn into pain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
My body was broken, fractures, brothers. I had facial fractures, orbital fractures, hemorrhaging. I was bleeding from the ears, everywhere, tools, machines. I woke up pulling everything out, but they had to put me back to sleep. Tools, machines, but my mind, that was the real, battlefield, I remember opening my eyes and feeling confused, guilt, you know, gratitude, all that at once. It was like my spirit came back before my body did. The hardest part wasn't the physical recovery, it was facing the question. Like I said, why did I survive? Why am I here? You know, and then I was like, I don't want to be here. Why did these, my grandmothers reject me? Why they didn't want me? The question became my mission. to find the meaning in that miracle, you know.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm trying to, find that, like while everybody's telling me, you came back for a reason, God has a purpose. So I'm trying to find what that purpose is. I think I found it.
Yeah, so you had PTSD from the military, but then you also got PTSD from this accident, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just keep, piling it on,
What was the
Mhm.
hardest part of the battle, you think, with that?
Good
Like physical
question.
pain, mental war, all that.
The mental war, hands down. The body heals, bones fuse, scars fade, but the mind replays everything on a loop. That's strong. It's strong. The accident brought old wounds back to the surface. With a vengeance. Iraq, loss, betrayal. I didn't shed a tear in Iraq. All the comrades I lost. Everything that I've seen. I never shed a tear. All that came back after the motorcycle accident and hit me all at once. It was like everything I buried came roaring back. The hardest part was accepting that survival doesn't mean you're okay. It means you've been chosen to keep fighting. And healing ain't a straight line, it's a daily choice.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like an overwhelming volume of emotions that just hit you. Huh.
Yes, all at once. All at once.
How did
Man.
you, uh, did people help you through that? How'd you get through that?
Oh man, my wife, man, was a big man. I don't know. Like my wife did everything for me. She was my nurse, man. Like, when I'm talking about cleaning me, bathing me, wiping me after I use the bathroom, make sure, I got to my appointments, held it down with me with the police because they wanted to do toxicologies on me and all that. She held that down and, she was just, I couldn't have done it without her, So she was the major factor right there. And my mom and everything, they came out to visit me, her mother, my mother-in-law. So combination of them, but definitely my wife, my son, helped me the most.
Man, that's awesome to have that good support system.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely.
So after all that, does survival mean something different than you? You literally been on the edge of death and back.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Survival used to mean just breathing, brothers. Now means purpose. I got this new saying where I say, turn pain into purpose or whatever. And I've been to the other side, like you said, and I know what it's like to come back with unfinished business. Survival
Mhm.
isn't about escaping death; it's about embracing life.
There you
I've
go.
grown to know that, and it's waking up every day with gratitude and grit. Grit, GRIT. Knowing every second you get is borrowed time. And asking yourself, what will I do with this gift today? You know?
Boy, hey man, hey, shout out to wifey and mama for bringing you back,
Yes,
man.
yes. Thank you.
Hey,
Salute.
that's some real like, it means something when you got
Yes.
somebody for sick. They'll do your part, sickness and in health all day. And in your
Yeah.
case, you surpassed the death part, and she still, boy, that's a keeper, boy.
Yeah, yeah. She was definitely there for me, man. Definitely.
That's what's up, man. That was really. That was admirable, man. You got me a little over here teary eyed. Swaggy Super don't cry, man. You know
Yeah,
what I
man. Go ahead and let it
mean?
out, Swaggy Super. Go ahead and let it out.
Hey,
I'm over
man.
here behind the shades. That's why I got the shades going on.
Hey, man.
You
Respect,
know?
man. Now, back to the question at hand, man. What was the toughest part about finding a home after the army? And California was it? Like what made California your final destination? Well, not final destination, but what made California somewhere you call home right now?
Well, you guys probably could relate to this, Finding home after the army felt impossible.
Hmm.
You spend years being told where to go, what to wear, how to move. Then one day, bam, it's all gone. That structure is gone. I'm used to structure. You know, basically, you're left with silence. Basically, and silence can be loud. But when you've lived through chaos, yeah, it could be loud. When but
Mm-hmm.
it's deafening, basically. And California gave me peace when I got here. I moved around to, I moved to Atlanta, the Duluth area. I
Mm-hmm.
moved to Florida. I was in Florida for 11 years. And it just, I didn't feel cozy. California gave me peace. Not because it fixed me, but because it gave me space to breathe, reflect and rebuild. Because that I definitely had to rebuild everything. I hit my lowest, like below rock bottom before I
Mm-hmm.
came to California. And I realized home isn't a place, it's a mindset. And I
Facts.
finally found mine, when I stopped running from my story and started walking in it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's deep right there, bro. Yeah,
Word.
you can't run from it. It gonna catch up with you. You might as well
Yup.
deal with it
Yup.
and embrace it, man.
Yup. Just walking it.
Now, my boy Big Pen them brought me on to the Swaggy Vets Podcast, and you got your own podcast, which is WAR. War. We're all recovering. How did that come about, and how did you start that?
Well, shout out to Swaggy Vets. You guys are big inspiration, and like me and Penny have a history, So I was watching, while I was getting my mind together, I was watching you guys' podcast, anytime
Mm-hmm.
I could catch it, and like I said, you guys was a real inspiration. I was sitting back and I was like, my grandmother always told me, I was gonna be a preacher or something. And when I went to a PTSD program and they told me that, I gave good speeches and stuff like that. So
Mm-hmm.
all it started coming together. I started putting two and two together, and I was like, I got something to say. You know, it started with pain. I realized every veteran, civilian, rich, poor, were all recovering for something. For me it was war, loss, the trauma, but I knew I wasn't alone. I wanted to build a platform where people could share their stories, share their scars and not be ashamed. War became a movement for me. A place where healing meets honesty, and it's about turning pain into purpose, one story at a time.
Being a
I like
respect.
I like that.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Now, with the go back to the trauma part, like when you hear people who are struggling with some of the same stuff that we went to and other civilian wise, like how do you use your story to give them hope and to keep them from giving up?
Oh, I tell them all the same thing. I tell them this: you're not broken. You're becoming. You know, I've been dead. I've been defeated. I've been dismissed. And guess what? I'm still here. Your scars don't disqualify you; they define you. And I
Ooh,
share my story so people know that they're not alone, and that healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means forgiving yourself enough to move forward. If I could survive war, that motorcycle accident, loss, and death itself, you can survive what you're facing too.
yeah. Facts. Facts. There's another deep. Yeah, you throwing them out there, ain't you? We gotta write these
You
down,
know,
man, so I can use.
this y'all got some good questions, man. They all hit home for me. It's from the heart.
That's what's up. Now again, this just backpedaling off the last question. Like with trauma, I know you say you can never fully heal from PTSD or trauma, but like you say, it's an everyday choice. Like what is something that you can push to let other veterans know, like, hey, what I'm saying, ain't no cure for it, but yet embrace whatever you still got going on here. Like, what would you say in that aspect?
Yes, 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 sir. Um, I would say, trauma never fully disappears. It becomes part of your fabric. You know, the goal isn't to erase it, not at all. It's not gonna. It's to transform it.
Mm-hmm.
Healing is active, is waking up and choosing peace over pain. So I wake up. I'm not telling people, they should Yeah, I am telling people you should believe in a higher power. That's what gets me through it. That's where my peace comes from.
Amen.
Faith over fear. We don't get over what we've been through. We just learn to walk with it differently.
Yeah.
That's why I say we're all recovering.
Facts.
Hey,
Facts.
so back, I remember me and you was talking, and
Mm,
you you ended up PCS in the Fort Drum at one point. You said that was like the worst decision ever.
you stupid.
Hey, hey, I always said if they give me Fort Drum, I'm signing the deck statement.
bro, listen. Don't look. Oh my God, I'm not gonna even talk. Well, let's talk about it. It's all good. I already know where it's going.
Let's talk about it. With
So
Well,
what's
drum.
up? What's
well,
up? Answer me.
you spoke about feeling betrayed because you sought help for PTSD at Fort Drum.
Yeah,
How that experience changed your trust when you had leadership back then?
brother.
Mm-hmm.
That experience in Fort Drum, I'm gonna keep it a bill. Broke something in me.
Mm,
You know, I gave effort. I gave. Check it out. I gave everything. Effort, loyalty, years. You know, and when I, not to mention, I was an NCO. And when I finally asked for help, I was treated like a problem, not a person. This is a heated topic for me. The betrayal forced me to redefine leadership. Real leaders listen. They see the human being behind the uniform. And that's how I carry myself as an NCOIC with my soldiers. You know, that pain actually inspired war. I wanted to build that kind of understanding I needed back then, you know?
okay.
Mm,
So, in your eyes, why is PTSD so misunderstood in the military? Why do you think that?
mm, controversial right here. Because it's invisible. Point blank. You can't line it up for inspection. It doesn't show up on paperwork. The army trains you to fight external wars, but no one prepares you for the internal one. Afterwards, after you come home, the ACAP and all that. PTSD isn't weakness, it's a wound, and like any wound, it needs care and not judgment,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah. So, I think at one point you felt like your leadership was writing you off and said, this dude's more of a problem than he is an asset.
Mm-hmm.
How'd that make you feel?
It made me feel like, like I couldn't trust nobody. I couldn't trust anybody. Everything that I've been through in the military was just smoke and mirrors. Like I couldn't believe that it was this kind of leadership out there. But then, at that time, I was going through something, and I had to realize, I've been around great leadership before. I've been around great leaders in the military. So it's not the whole army. It's just
Mm-hmm.
it's just a few out there, like what I like to call stragglers. There's a few stragglers out there, that want to make your life difficult. So I can't hold it against my whole military service. But I was done. I was done after it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Hey, I remember when I first got to Bragg because we went to AIT and then James went straight to Bragg. I went to airborne school and then he came. I remember I was in reception and the AD say he came and picked me up. So I was very grateful because I didn't know what was going on when I first got to Bragg. But he picked me up, man, and I appreciate all that, man.
Yeah, man. And check this out. When you're no longer mission ready, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
your value fades, So
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I felt. I felt
yeah,
you go from being an asset to being a burden
Yeah.
in their eyes. That shift cuts deep,
okay,
But I learned something powerful. Your worth isn't tied to your MOS, your rank, or your readiness. You're still a soldier, even when you're healing, even when you're rebuilding. you know.
Mm, man, boy, you done got a little deep on me, James. Man, hey, man,
Yeah, bro.
I respect a lot of stuff you got going, man. And like looking back, like what army values still drive your daily life the most out of all of them? Well, like what
Mm,
pushes you when you open your eyes in the morning? What army value pushes you to still just continue being the great?
mm, hmm. Well, I would say loyalty and selfless service.
Mm,
Loyalty to
mm,
to my purpose, to my people and to the truth,
yes,
and selfless service because when you've been given a second chance at life, every day becomes an opportunity to serve. Those values didn't just make me a better soldier, they made me a better man.
amen. True respect. Hey,
Yes, sir.
I could loyalty is the number one. I guess for me, I could say because it's just being with your brothers and like what you say with the camaraderie. Like you don't get that with civilians, but civilians get it with other civilians like police, first responders, and stuff. But with our army values and being instilled, we utilize that through daily life to continue to be great, to continue to push forward, to continue to lead, whether it's our families, kids, our friends, associates, business partners, etc. So yeah,
Definitely. Definitely.
again,
I agree 100%.
now with that being said, like what advice would you give to a veteran who feels abandoned or just overlooked? Like you say, we go from being an asset to being a burden. Like what
Mm,
advice would you give to somebody going through the same thing?
mm. You're not invisible,
Mm,
even if the system makes you feel that way. Your story still matters. You've already proven your strength by surviving what others can't imagine. You
mm,
know, now it's time to use that strength for yourself. Don't suffer in silence. Speak your truth. And it's very important that you reach out, and reconnect. The worst thing you could do is, is shutting yourself off from the world. That's what I used to do a lot, isolating. That's the worst thing you could do. The
okay.
uniform might come off, but the brotherhood doesn't.
Mm. I think I think Swaggy Vet team, everybody can acknowledge that part. Like that, you feel like if you isolate yourself, that makes it better, but it really don't
Mm,
because you're in your thoughts, you're in your heart, you're in
right,
your mind, you're reminiscing, you're having flashbacks, you're going through some stuff, and it's like with us being military and all of us, especially like being men of the house, it's like we can't show that kind of that emotion. We can't show the weak because we think it's weak, but it's not really weak. It's you got to embrace it. So that way, asking for help is a part
right,
of overcoming. Asking for for how to utilize benefits or overcome a lot of adversaries that we
right,
go through. So
right.
that's real admirable, man. And like, let's go back about 50 years when you was 18. Like, what would you say to yourself?
Good one. All right. Okay.
No, I'm
Okay.
just joking. I'm joking. Like, if you could go back in time into your 18-year-old self, like, what would you? Hey, it's like, hey, this is what you need to do right here in order to be this great, in order to not for this happen. But what was the main thing that you would tell your 18-year-old self, like right now, from this Mr. James right here to that 18-year-old James?
Another excellent question. Another one. I say, bro, listen up. Listen carefully. You're walking into something that's gonna change you forever. But it's gonna build you into a man, who saves lives, not just in battle, but through your story. I tell them, you're gonna lose people. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
lose parts of yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
know. But don't let that harden you, Let that humble you. And most of all, don't forget the same heart that can go to war can also heal.
Hey,
Hey,
You
I
know,
like
hey, fact, big fact, man.
yeah, bro.
You got a saying where you say wear your scars as stripes. Can you explain that for and what that means to you and why every veteran, whether you Navy, Army, National Guard, should hear that wear your scars as stripes.
Man, y'all got me over here choked up right now. Um, um, to me, it means stop hiding, what you survived.
Mm.
Scars aren't shame, it's proof. Um, Proof you've been through hell and came out the other side.
Ooh.
Every strike tells a story of resilience, sacrifice, of strength. We earn our scars the same way we earn our rank, through experience. So
Mm-hmm.
wear them with pride because somebody out there needs to see your scars to believe they can survive their own.
Facts. Facts. That's deep.
so after do you own a motorcycle today, James?
Nah, brother, I want to get back on.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't been back on, to be honest, since then.
Why
I'm
she ain't
kind of,
having that?
yeah, she's not having that. Yeah, I think she'll leave me after if I do that.
Yeah.
Because I put her through hell, man. I put her through hell
Right.
afterwards.
What was
Mm-mm.
the bike you had when you read? Was it the V Rod you
I
had?
had just got the Street Glide,
Oh,
a
okay.
Ooh.
brand new Street Glide, like a pearl type maroon color. Oh man, the speakers throughout, the bat with all that. You know, it was beautiful, bro. And I got pictures of it somewhere, and I only had it for like a week, and I
Mm,
just got it washed
Damn.
dang.
by some hot babes. I just got it washed, and it was just sitting there parked. So I got on it, and that was the last time I rode, man.
I remember
Mm.
he used to make fun of me because he had the V Rod, and I
Yeah.
had my Road King. He'd be like, "Man, you gotta get a V Rod."
And guess what? I got my second bike after the V Rod was a Road King, the
Oh
black
yeah,
one. Yep, the
yeah.
black one.
Mm. See, y'all started on them big boys. I started on them boosters and them ninjas. When I was a
Oh, those are
speed
the.
demon.
Oh man, now those are dangerous. See, I would have definitely killed myself on a booster.
Mm,
See, now, I mean, it all depended. Me, I used to go when I was at Hood. I used to ride with the Rough Riders, and I used to go, man. 110. That was normal to go to Austin from
Yeah,
Fort Hood, man.
yeah, yeah.
I was scared of them V Rods and all them big boy. That like y'all scared me, man.
I just like the sound. I like the muscle.
Mm.
absolutely.
I
Yeah.
like the exhaust of the Harleys.
See, I'm there now. Like paying them out of the Swaggy Vet Nation trying to get me to get old, street glide or something now,
Oh
man.
yeah, you got to. It's Harley or go home. I don't advise on any other brand. I mean, Indians are okay. I think they just want to be Harleys, basically.
Oh, Indians are
You,
stepping the game up though, man. I've seen some nice Indians.
yeah,
Yeah,
I've seen them.
nice.
I've seen them too.
Yeah.
I've seen them too.
They okay to me. They are.
Yeah, they okay,
They are.
exactly.
They
They
are.
okay, but Harley is the way. I always be a Harley man.
That's
So
what's up.
where can people find you, James?
Y'all can find me on the war.net, no, the warnetwork.com.
Okay.
And on the warnetwork.com, they got the links there to YouTube, Facebook, and all that. You just go to the website and it'll shoot you to anywhere you want to go. We on Spotify, Apple,
Mm.
Buzzsprout, Podbean, every platform you could think of, we out there.
Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
And and what do you see in the future for war? What do you want? What do you want?
Man, I see war, honestly, I see war helping millions and millions of people. I think war is going to be kind of like how AA is out there and you got
Mm.
NA and stuff like that. I could see war being something like that because it's welcoming everybody, you
Mm-hmm.
know, everybody. It's not just a specific, thing. It's not just alcoholism, NA, narcotics, you know, military. It's everything. It's everybody. Inmates, former inmates. Um, abusive relationships, anything you could think of, any trauma you could think of. We welcome everybody. We talk about it all.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I see you just had you either going to have or you have it's a sergeant somebody.
Sergeant Lampkins.
Yeah, Sergeant Lampkins.
Yeah, Sergeant Lampkins from Task Force 136. I served with him in Iraq from 06 to 07. He just dropped an incredible story on my podcast the other day, and it's now on YouTube right now. It got exclusive video footage of our time and hit when we had a little thing called Combat Cameras, Channel 12 News. That's on there. So that's a little thing for the folks back home to watch, see how we kind of did things out there, a little laughter and everything through all the pain.
Awesome, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, shoot, we appreciate you coming on the show, man. I really appreciate you.
Man, I appreciate you guys, man. Thanks for the opportunity. I love you guys' podcast. I love everything that you guys are doing. Like I said, you inspire war, bro. So thank you so much. Y'all are doing awesome, man. I can't wait to see that Navy SEAL episode too.
Yeah, it's out now. So y'all go watch.
Oh, it is? Okay, yeah, I'm gonna tune in.
Tune in, support, subscribe, follow, share, man.
Yeah, go support my brother James War Podcast, y'all.
TheWarNetwork.com, folks.
Yeah. It'll be in the description though, so y'all stay tuned. But hey, you got anything else, Swaggy?
No, man, I'm just another good episode, man, with guy James, man, dropped some cool gems and gave some great advice, man. I'm blessed to be part of this whole session and everything, man. It was great to meet him, great to indulge, man. And stay swaggy, stay strong, man.
Thank you, brother.
Salute me or shoot me, man. Y'all know what it is.
Yes, sir.
Taste.